So I am from Whiteville, North Carolina, which is like an hour south of here. Got married, came to Fayetteville. I was like, oh, yeah, watching. But I, came here, visited while we were late. I was like, okay, we can do this. And so I actually, how I came to Veterans United, I actually used Veterans United to purchase my house. And so I was just like, I don't know, kind of coming into this, I previously worked in insurance and I just thought that the house purchase was just a daunting task. I was just like, I can't do it. We were going to the wedding, I moved from Minneapolis, and I was just like, I have all the cards stacked against me. Who's gonna pre-approve me? But we did it, got pre-approved and purchased. But again, through that process, I was just like, they took care of me, any questions I had. I was just sold on the customer service. That was really important to me. And I didn't have an agent to walk through the process. And we chose for sale by owner. Just a happen thing. It wasn't like I didn't want to hate it. It was just, honestly, it was a condo right beside her, so, or beside my husband, so we can get together there. But it just worked out. So here I am, 5 years later. I love what I do. I love Fayetteville. I'm a vet. My husband's a vet, so it just works out. Is anyone in?
Married to one.
No, so thank you for their service. But I created like a little folder with a couple guides for some resources. You're welcome. It's high level, and a lot of the information is going to be high level, but I think these presentations interactive. So if there's questions that you have, just stop me. We can dig into it as we go.
Give me just 1 second. It.
Hey, I know we go through that. Are you better local? Forward. Are you? No. Okay.
I've had really, really great deals with Veterans United, and the absolute dumpster fires with Veterans United. And I know that not every lender is the same, and you don't really want to judge like where they work on that one person. I really love the fact that you're local though. That would be something that I like the option, especially with the first time home buyer, to be able to sit down in front of you and not just, I feel like you're able to explain to somebody better. So I do enjoy that fact.
Yeah, and I can circle back to some of that later. Yeah. So VA home loan. So we're gonna kind of go over again high level, the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. Okay, so who is eligible for a VA home loan? We get this one all the time. You can go to the next one. It's supposed to be funny like you. Okay, so it can be a single vet, a veteran and a spouse, or veteran to veteran. So we get a lot of times, hey, can my parent be on the loan? No. My cousin, somebody with more or qualifying income and or qualifying credit score. We can't do it that way. It has to be that vet and spouse, or veteran to veteran. If it's veteran to veteran, sometimes, or most often, we will educate them on like saying, yes, you can do it this way. But most oftentimes with that, an investor can qualify by themselves. We will suggest that they go that route, only because splitting entitlement, it would be most beneficial for them to keep their entitlement themselves so that that other person can use their entitlement to make their purchase and not be tied up into someone else. Does that make sense?
So would that be when a veteran has a home for sale and they say that it's an assumable, is that what we put it, where an assumable home?
Purchase together.
Got you, okay.
Or we see it with husband and wife. So I'll use myself in my, so me and my husband were both veterans. He purchased his house with his entitlement, I purchased mine with my entitlement. When it came time for us to purchase again, he used his subsequent entitlement, his remaining entitlement to purchase again. Now, if something came up, and we were like, hey, we want to buy another house, now I can use my entitlement again, instead of us both tying up our entitlement in one purchase. So we can use this essentially over and over.
So Chelsea, I just finished up and hopefully there was no not honest about the situation. Because I always say to, you know, my buyers, there's a couple lenders, please make sure if your credit you think is good, reach out, to kind of see your options. So one was a veteran, one was active duty.
Okay.
And they were not married, but they were able to use both their, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so, and I was confused, I thought it had to be a spouse that was there.
It can be, or it can be active, and I use the word vet. It can be active for this.
Because I had used someone for me, and basically, that's what happened is the active duty, they used their entitlement versus bringing the two together. Because they were both active duty, but then, the lender said, well, only that person can be on the deed. And so I was like, and I was kind of new to it, and like, okay, I just gotta roll with it. And, because I'm totally against that, okay, another person.
Yeah. Maybe that was just like a one-off. Some of my cases, okay, if it's a spousal situation, of course, we want to let the wife or the spouse, you know, you're gonna say, we'll be on it, but if it's a situation where it's bad to bad, it can get there.
And that particular one, I was told no, because they're not married, price is the benefit. They cannot be on that deed, but at the end, I just finished up one, and it was better, active duty, they were not married, but they're entitlements.
Yeah, and we can, okay, it can be. Again, it's case by case, we have discussion of, hey, what are your future plans of how you get, kind of, they can make informed decisions. You're welcome. Oh, something else I wanted to mention here. So surviving spouse, they do have the ability to use the benefit. Now, if that surviving spouse gets remarried, they do not, they lose their benefit. Surviving spouse, if they get remarried, then they lose their benefit. So what exactly is the VA home loan? VA home loan is a mortgage that's backed by the Department of Veterans Affairs. One of the three most popular loan types, and then the greatest benefit of them all is no doubt required. And then there's nine, which happens to be one of the leading VA lenders. That's just in totality, not necessarily as locals. So where can you use your VA benefits? United States and its territories, so Puerto Rico, Guam, U.S. Virgin Islands, and some other areas. I feel like I've had a question about the Dominican Republic before, like certain places, but this is where you can use the VA home loan. I know we kind of just, is anyone else licensed in different states? I guess just a general question, if someone asks, where can you use it? United States name.
That's
In the
interesting.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah.
So here's question two, when can you use your VA home loan? So once active duty has completed 90 days of wartime, or 181 days of peacetime, where I've seen it get tricky is a reservist and National Guard. Because we have to have special documentations, especially with the National Guard, to see if they have the number of points, things like that. I'm always one who's, let's try to obtain this, and let's look at 214, especially when it comes to reservists and National Guard. Just because of the nuances that can. So I have seen individuals come in and they're like, hey, no, the vehicle, and then we have to kind of say, like, hey, you don't qualify, you're not eligible. And that's because we had to do deeper than the DB 214. And for whatever reason, and of course, they're not going to disclose why they were, put out or certain things that don't necessarily come to the forefront, but they feel like, just because they are entitled to this benefit, but not everybody is. And again, that's where it kind of comes into, hey, let's see if we can obtain your seal. Let's look at your DB 214 to see, what's going on or what happened.
So after 90 days of active duty service and more time. Okay.
Yeah, so basically, after, if they have completed basic training in AIT,
Oh,
and we've had some pretty high speed guys come in, like right after training and get qualified. A huge, I can't think of the word, but so I had one time, he was a victim, or he is a victim, sorry. And he was like, well, you can't, use the VA home loans. And I'm like, this is you can use it more than once. Again, like I was saying myself, we've used it multiple times. There's just a way that you have to do it to make it doable, and I always say make it make sense. So let's say someone wants to upgrade or downgrade their home. That's absolutely doable. To purchase a home, but then years later he gets married, has kids, he needs a 4-bedroom, 3-bedroom house, coming from a 2-1. Of course that makes sense. But a lot of times we have these guys that just want to become investors and they just buy these, and there is a way to do it. We just need to strategize how to do it. While I'm on this slide, it doesn't necessarily talk about the eligibility of the property, but we can use the VA home loan to buy a duplex, 4-plex unit. He or she just needs to purchase or live and reside in one. So it is.
Okay. Because I have talked to a few people that want to rent out their current residence and purchase another home.
You can.
Okay.
And it's just one of the situations where it has to make sense. So what's the reason for the next purchase?
So like their PCS and somewhere.
PCSing, we've done it in Cumberland County. I'm trying to make up something really quick. Of course, upgrading, downgrading. You want more space, less space. Maybe you don't like the neighborhood. Maybe you want to move because the schools.
So if you have a reason that is acceptable.
Correct.
Okay.
It can't just be because I want to rent this other house. No, the intent for the VA home loan is for that home to become your primary residence. So why should the VA home loan? I personally think it's the best product out there. But this is what I do every day too. So across the board, for the majority of the time, it's gonna have the lowest rate in comparison to any other loan product. And when I talk about loan products, I'm saying like the big four, conventional USDA, FHA, and VA. So when we compare the four, VA is gonna have the lowest loan. So there's no prepayment penalty. Something that we're kind of talking about a lot is with taxes, they're going out, rates are high, and people want to refinance. They can pay more towards the principal and no penalty to them. So if they want to pay down their loan faster, they can do so without being penalized.
Mhm.
And so I say we're talking about that a lot now. I had this client that they're doing the interest rate, it's a we're refinancing to a lower rate. But I'm saying, hey, if you're comfortable with the higher payment, continue making that payment, but just take the difference and apply it to your principal so that you're paying off the loan fast. But you have a lower rate. So we're going from like a 7.2 to like 5.75.
So why would you tell them that? As far as the cost in refinancing?
No, so I'm saying, so a lot of times people want to lower the interest rate, which is gonna in turn lower the payment. But if they were comfortable with the higher payment, then lower the interest and take the difference and pay for the principal so that you're getting the loan off. You're not paying. Pest inspection and broker fees paid by the seller, the buyer can't pay for those. You know?
I have a question about the, prepayment. So
Okay.
I know there's something specific that people have to do when they want to make extra payments toward the principal, like when they make the payment. What is that? I always forget what it is that they say. If you want to make an extra payment towards the principal, you have to, specify that. So
Yes. So we always say contact your servicer and tell them to apply that payment. Tell them directly where you want that payment to go. Otherwise, they just may apply it to your entire payment, not just the principal. Again, zero down payment. And then no private mortgage insurance. So specifically with your FHA and conventional, it's going to require social insurance. That's included in the mortgage payment, which the VA home loan does not require. And on average, that PMI is going to vary by loan amount, but it can range anywhere from like $1,200.
It was always paid by the seller, paid by the seller, paid by the seller, but recently, something switched where it's not paid by the seller anymore.
It doesn't have to be.
Okay,
Yeah, it can be paid by the buyer.
okay, so I guess it's just a negotiation thing now that we did have.
It can be paid by either party.
I think you told me, Chelsea, as long as the lender knows who's paying it. Yeah, because, you know, when we get the like the estimate, she is usually like this blanket of $150. And I'm looking at every line for my buyers, and I'm like, wait a minute. I called Chelsea, oh no, we put that in just as an estimate, but as long as the lender knows who's paying.
Yeah, initially when we provide like a loan estimate or we do like a fee breakdown or something like that, you will see it on like this on the seller side. Buyer side.
I've had it a couple of times recently where the seller was dedicated and was like, we're not required to pay that. Yeah, it means that I can start telling buyers now, like, the home inspection is this, the past inspection is this, and this is that. You know what I mean? Just upfront, I'm not even gonna nail it, because I don't want a seller to get pissed, but they have to pay $100.
Right.
Make them to freaking fix all these other things that need to be fixed.
Yeah.
Right. That takes them. Especially the representative sellers.
So in almost 20 years, was there a time that you've been a realtor where it was like, you see more sellers coming? Like, is it like a market thing?
It's always. Couldn't cover it until like the last year or so.
So it's like a market.
I would tell sellers, if you're gonna be a buyer, this is what you're gonna be like, they're not allowed to pay it, and it has to be paid by the buyer. So if you're gonna accept it, okay, I would say that.
Right.
More often than not, it's paying that. And you just tell the buyer that's correct. Not much time here, you know, I do it one problem.
Right. Right.
What's the customer if they want it, and so you say, well, tell them they pay for it, it's in their head. I'm gonna pay that.
Right.
You know.
And even when we have our discussions with the client, we're going to, okay, you need to be prepared to pay for these items. That's inspection is one.
And you know, this inspection is, minimal amount compared to something else, it's like $50. Let's not argue about $50.
Right, true.
Or 75, or whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
The other item is the funding fee, so that's the fee that the VA, active VA charges for doing the VA. The first is 2.15 of the loan amount. That is typically broken into the loan. So, the purchase price is $200,000. Why is my funding, or why is my loan amount?
205.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is the funding fee. So those are things that, well, I don't know if you guys, but we definitely get the question for it once that initial fee goes out.
Here, our son purchased his home. And Andrew, he's like, Mom, I don't understand, why is this money being such and such? I said, Andrew, I don't know, call your lender. And so he was like, okay. Let's see. And so then he gets this computer and said, hey, this is like 50 pages or something. I said, do you think everyone reads? Well, on page 45, I'm going to go ahead and finish it before I contact Chelsea. So, because I couldn't answer that question, and I learned standing on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to tell, because again, when the buyers are looking at this, and it's coming down to the closing costs, it's like, wait a minute, why is there $7,500 on Chelsea, please? Okay, about inspection.
I've always wondered this, what if someone pays the fund fee, just add that, as part of the closing cost added in, I don't want to roll it into my loan? What if the difference in pay, like what, $5? In difference in payment, would it be if they paid that outside the closing?
Depends on the loan amount, but it's not huge.
Not huge, not enough.
Not enough
Yeah.
Offset or-
Yeah.
And it goes up the more you use it, yeah?
Yes, everything usually is 3.3%. So this kind of goes back into, the VA funding fee, what is it? Yeah.
Okay, is there ever an instance where the VA funding fee is waived? Like if they're 100% disabled, if they're this, that, and the other, what?
If they're 100%, yes, it's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how it's waived. Okay. I'm just curious.
Yeah, in other ways, they're receiving VA disability,
Yeah.
10% or more. Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't have to be 100%.
No.
They're receiving 10% ability, 10% of that.
And typically what happens, and that it is a huge savings overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just piggybacking on that, just with my last clients, so she had disability, he did not have disability, because she is reserves team, and, so she had disability, so her funding fee was waived, but he had a funding fee, and so my understanding from the lender, now it was only half of the funding fee that he was able to.
Okay.
So, so versus him being charged with the full funding fee, and she did not have a funding fee, now it's been,
Okay.
yeah, that was my understanding.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's situations like that. I know it's probably more into the situation. But if he was exempt, right? Or she was, if she was exempt, we would try to figure her, for her, so that he doesn't, so there's no funding to get off. But maybe based on the loan amount or other.
And I think that's what it was, Chelsea, they truly fell in love with the home, but it was that situation that we're in, you really like this, let me dig in. I call, hey, are you paying your buyer agency commission? No. And so I had that conversation with them, and they couldn't afford that home because they couldn't afford to pay my commission. And so then I think it was because they were looking for a certain, that is why, because I told them, I said, it doesn't matter if you're pre-approved, it doesn't matter if she's pre-approved, as long as you get a house, correct? Yeah, that's correct. Because sometimes people's ego is rude. And I'm like, do not let that happen.
Yeah.
So you just go in there and what you can do to get pre-approved for what you're looking for. And I got you guys. Because I'm not gonna call you and say, hey, Chelsea, how do we do this? Yeah. Because it's between you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Different situations would be in loans, even though the people are using the same loan, I have found that certain situations possibly different, buyers, like, I had a buyer that, well, they were eventually gonna sell their home, but their other home was being built, so they were using VA, construction firm. And they ended up having to pay a substantial amount to, close on their new construction. And it had something to do with their current, or at the time, their current home. So I was like, oh, wow. So I don't remember, well, they tried to explain it to me, but the way they got me was not what they said explain it. That lender, but for some reason, because of something to do with their current home, they had to pay.
They had too much retirement tied up into their current home. They didn't have enough to pay for the new home, so they had to
So
pay
that
the
is the difference, yeah.
So it's kind of like a tandem situation where it's like you're selling one home, you need that entitlement to have a zero down payment for the next. We'll do a tandem close on, we close on this one, a tandem CD, and then close on restore the entitlement, and then close on your thing.
So if they would have sold their current home first, they might not, well, they would have been in that situation.
Is what I'm thinking.
And just when I first started, I kept getting so caught up on certificate of eligibility. And so I learned that is Chelsea's area.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And I worked with a client, I'm like, all of a sudden you're pre-approved for $300,000. Now we're looking at an $800,000 home. I don't understand this. And so when the lender was explaining, well, this person owns 2 other homes. So basically, he just, and what it was family. Okay. So he had to get a formal lease from them to show that the income was being brought in.
Oh, okay. So that's a primary conversion. So if they're gonna retain their current home as a rental property, then yes, it's what that's what we kind of call primary conversion. You're converting that home into a rental property. We need to offset that mortgage payment. Exactly. So we can do a rental agreement with the first month's deposit, and offset that amount. And so then that frees up that. Yeah. Yeah, there's ways.
There's
Go to the next one. Okay, so this is the road to closing. And just to kind of give you some background, so this presentation is the same presentation we would give to a buyer seminar. So this is kind of the roadmap that we would share with a potential client. With the first step, always be get qualified, pre-approved before you start going out. Are you looking at home? You might not necessarily get qualified for.
Right.
So, yeah, so I'm sure you guys are pretty familiar with this process, but this is our internal workings and how we would go about the process. Hey, let's get the client pre-approved, pre-qualified first, and then connected with an agent. Pre-approval, we got the paperwork, everything's done through, so I'll take you through our process. kind of, I've worked with a couple of you guys. So let's say, I'm gonna work to get them pre-qualified. When we have that momentum, we want to keep it going. So
Yeah.
although we're pre-qualified, we're gonna connect them with an agent. So let's kind of keep this going. But while they're also talking to you, we're gonna still be gathering paperwork. If it's active duty, 9 times out of 10, we can kind of tell you what they're making. It's something. So we'll get them pre-approved. Everything is done through a portal, so you know, electronically. We'll go and clear it, whole 9. There are clients who they just want to drop off paperwork. We do that too. Let's say that they go into contract, that's coming back on you guys, where you guys doing inspections. We'll order the appraisal. We're going to underwrite. It's done within 24 hours. We'll have conditional approval. And then, of course, that the lag of, is waiting on that appraisal. They do have, and I say they, the appraiser, I'm sorry, has 10 business days to conduct an appraisal, get it back to us. You guys know. And then, yeah. And then we're headed off to the closing table. So typically, and I say we, talk about the local office, we can close within about 30 days, if not sooner. We feel like and y'all can attest to this, but you all, I think we have a pretty streamlined process.
Yeah.
Of course, we're gonna have those one-offs where maybe buy something, but it's a part of the process. There's a reason for why we're doing or asking for what we're doing. But I think it's pretty smooth. I can work with it. Can't say anything too bad. So this is kind of just gonna go over, I wanted to go over some things that's not in the presentation that I thought would be very, very helpful to you guys. So COE, I know I kept saying it, but that's the certificate of eligibility. We obtain that for the bar. So that's not something that, I know sometimes they will, but it's not something that they have to go obtain. We'll do it for them. For whatever reason, if it doesn't pull through the VA system, then that's documentation, statement of service, DD 214, whatever it may be. But we will take that on for them. I also wanted to get into us as a local branch, what we are. So I know you mentioned that you work with home offices a lot. So home office we charge 1% of the loan amount versus our local office only charges $9.25. So if ever you have a home office and they want to work locally, we can't tell them that we're going to charge $9.25. You can share that information with them, but
And do you call it still an origination?
no, so we call ours a commitment fee.
Oh.
And that's flat across the board, regardless of the loan amount.
Okay, call it.
Commitment fee. Yes.
Right. Right.
When I went over and have that file, here's how we get that file. So for example, Shelby said she worked with.
So if you have a borrower that is currently pre-approved at home office, all you have to do is send me the name, phone number, email. I'll reach out to them and say, hey, Shelby gave me your contact information. I understand that you want to transfer to the local office. He said, yeah. I'll just send them a quick email to confirm the conversation. Send it to my man. They'll go behind the scenes to transfer the file. Nothing changes except the price. While the documentation stays the same, everything transfers over to me. I'll take a look at it, double check it, make sure. Nope.
Right.
No, everything stays the same. Everything stays the same. Literally, we'll go ahead and change the price and it'll take.
That's exactly what happened with my son. So Andrew was PCSing from Alabama. And I'm a horrible mom sometimes, and I'm the best mom sometimes. And I said, you got 2 weeks in his house and you gotta figure it out. And he took it so literal that when he got here the next week, we were looking at homes, and I said, before I take you to look for homes, you need to get pre-approved. And so, you know, I said, Governor United, and so he goes on, he does his application for it. I said, now I want you to work with Chelsea. Well, Mom, I heard you, and I heard that. And I'm like, okay, I want you to work with Chelsea. So you need to figure out what you need to do with Chelsea. And so then it was like next, okay, I'm living in Chelsea. So I think it was, I don't know if I reached out to you or I gave him your number, but it was a very easy transition from the corporate to local.
I have an issue right now with that. No, I'm gonna wait till the end, but we're all talking about it now. What is y'all stipulations on houses with clubs? So here's my situation.
Okay.
When they bought the house, we have a well system.
Yep.
It was high, so they got a full house filtration system,
Right.
all the faucets everywhere. The VA loan comes in, we're under contract now, we're supposed to close tomorrow, not closing tomorrow because Veterans United corporate is making them have a well test. You gotta work with environmental, maybe you want to get it. So we have a lab that, will do the testing faster. She went to the faucet, did the test, followed by put it in the tube, and you go set it off.
Right.
So they sent it to Raleigh to get it. You know, so obviously we're delayed. My sellers are a little upset. The buyers are upset. You know, they want to move in tomorrow. Things. And so I'm wondering, I understand you want to protect the veteran, I get that, but when you have a whole house filtration stuff already on that can be proved, why are we still testing well on there? Because what's gonna happen if it's high? You're gonna tell us to put filtration system on. So cool, it's already on there. What I don't understand.
I'm not sure what
Please do.
I probably can't do too much, but I can ask more questions to figure out why.
I'm curious, yeah. Why is that? You know, it's not my factor, so very.
Yeah.
Get it over one for.
You know, things that are- you know,
5 days.
yeah, I don't know that.
We had this bid, we knew that out of the gate, we would have that.
Right.
It literally was like 2 weeks ago. And then what are we doing? She's like, you have to, like, why you guys have to come? She's like, we have to get this water tested, blah, 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 blah. And then we should have environmental. Like, we were like 3 weeks out, blah, blah, blah.
As far as Cumberland County. Yeah.
They'll make you want to run, your car into the.
Yeah.
Because they don't want,
I mean, as far as just like, well, you know.
yeah, so I'm just curious, I'll get with you afterwards about it. About the ball, but thank God I already did the ball, she worked so diligently, but everyone's bid up.
Yeah.
I understand what you're doing. It's the only one I have. Really?
Yeah, especially.
Really?
With the, I've heard this, I think, one time, if there's gas in the home, right, those gas logs, the VA required that fireplace to be checked. And so I'm just like,
But it's not every time, that's the price that only country, it's like, is it across the board, or you just need to do today, like, I really just need to know, that's what, you know what I mean? And if it's across the board, cool, I can know that, and I'm gonna order it immediately if I have a fire, and it's done, on,
Yeah.
you know, but half the time it's not the same with every, you know, person, like, every month. VA comes, it's super frustrating.
it's because go through and say, wait a minute, well, why didn't this one? And so, you know, thank goodness you can call the HVAC and get that done pretty quickly, but.
But is it also an installation of the CO2?
It is verifying with
And all of that. What's the answer? You know, maybe someone can learn to talk about it.
So now I'm not walking through. One second.
Do you require that? The bigger extra, yeah, there's an extra. Okay.
But I will say that our coordinator is pretty high speed.
Okay.
She will outline everything initially, but she does her introduction and tell you what she doing.
Yeah. So that's what I would love to talk. You need that list on, you know.
Make it seem like, hey, local versus corporate, but it is two different entities and two different processes.
Yeah.
So,
And the thing too, it's going to be different lenders, because that's what we're seeing, like I just finished up with VA, they require that. You know, for the gas, you know, the fireplace to be inspected. So, you know, with me, I don't wanna say to my buyers, hey, let's go ahead and get this inspected, because it could be $150.
Yeah.
So everything starts adding up, I'm like, you know, can get whomever here or Nathan's, whatever out here again, if we get it. But yeah, it's that one's up.
also, I wanted to mention partnerships before we kind of jump into this and wrap up. I'm willing to do any buyer seminars that you guys are partnering with. So, also we are, I'll say all kind of special, because that is not what it is. But if ever you would house or something like that, and we have clients that if they use Veterans United, we'll cover the cost of that first. If we do a home buyer seminar, we have buyers that come to the seminar, we'll also cover the cost of that appraisal. Now, when it comes to both of those, the buying seminar and the open house events, we do have our marketing team, so we can co-brand items. Similar to the flyers that you have, there's a ton that we can choose from, but we can co-brand items. We'll push it to Eventbrite, we'll push it on our social medias. We'll also push it to any active buyers that we have in our entire pipeline, so that we have a guideline to them. So anyone that we have in our network, I'll say, we'll push the information to them so that they have information and they're coming out to these open houses and home buying seminar events. We can host it here, we can host it at our office. We're flexible, whatever you guys want to do, just wanted to throw that out there to you guys. So I'll go back to this and we can wrap up again to 12. So myth versus fact. Can you use a VA home loan for your first? Can you use the most? Yeah. Question wrong, wait.
You did.
Okay.
Yeah, can I only use my, it's like, can I only use my VA loan?
Only your benefit
For my
Sorry.
first home,
Okay, I'm sorry. So correction, you can use it on your first, and you can use it for your purchases. Let me read exactly for you. Since the VA doesn't require a down payment, the buyer will not have to bring anyone into closing.
That's false.
That's a bit.
That's false.
Years into real estate, it's always learning, always learning, always learning. And so, you know, with a lot of VA buyers, they have that thought.
They do.
But it comes down to, please understand, there is closing costs, because you may be getting into this, because what is your homeowner's insurance
Yes.
required, okay? What are the taxes? All of those, it relates to that.
Yes.
And then if you're looking for, I call it a hot house, if that house just came on the market today, we cannot ask for 3% of the closing costs for this home. We can't do that. And so, you know, for buyers to understand, there's so much involved for this. And I'm a big educator, so as long as they, in my last client, if somebody's gonna tell me just a little bit, I'm gonna keep digging, so they were able to get to the closing table without bringing money and being able to get some back, so it's.
Yeah.
They're allowed to get back. Let's just say that we've covered everything and the sellers are willing to pay like this amount of money. And then like, what's the percentage? Because I know there is something where they can't get.
The borrower?
Yes.
So the borrower can only get back as much as they put in.
As far as the D or something like that. They put $2 grand in the
They
year.
get $2 back. Now, if there's overage, then
Try to the appraisal.
let's try to find a rate, or there's some.
I just don't like.
And we won't, so that's another conversation we'll have, hey, how can we lock these funds so that you're not, you know?
And the one that we worked with, and I couldn't understand what Chelsea was doing, but I had to just trust her because there was a carpet allowance. And so I didn't understand that process. I said, okay, Chelsea, I know she cannot just get 5,000. And I don't know who said this, oh, we'll just write them a check for $5,000 and they can use it as, like, wait, slow it down here. And because they had only put X amount in, so I had to think faster than what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
Because again, it was like Shelby saying, you don't want to leave any money on the table. You don't want to leave any, because like the builders, if they're offering $20,000, how can you use this? So going back to the lender, saying, how can we do this?
Yeah, sometimes like a spins or,
Yeah.
minds it or something like that. No, mine's not trying to get scary, but yeah, we'll try to find that somewhere, yeah. Somewhere where we can spend that money.
In the buy down.
Right, right, yeah.
Because so slow, like seeing, hey, you have the carpet allowance here. I couldn't understand that. I'm like, I know you can't just, and my client said, well, I'm not a Chelsea. I says, okay, so explain it to me then. And so Chelsea's like, yeah, we can do this.
Maybe when I have like loans or.
Just get invoices.
And trying for them not to go, because I think my particular buyer, I love her, but I think she went ahead and bought. I'm like, did you talk with Chelsea about that? Did you talk with Chelsea about that?
All right, so next question, I am a civilian, but my dad is a retired veteran. So can I use his VA loan benefit? Yeah, so only the veteran can use the benefit.
And if the veteran passes away, why did you use it all the way up until the corporation?
COE stands for Certificate of Eligibility and shows the lender I am eligible for a VA loan. True.
You take a picture? I'll wait for you to take a picture.
You know, I was like, duh, I have to print this.
You do.
Saw that one of Tiffany, but I was like,
I saw the moment, but I didn't know why you had that moment. So I was like,
sorry.
Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, so any other questions? Okay. Yes. I think my cell number is on at least one or two.